Imagine a world I wish to see. No gangsters or thugs, true land of the free. Free of the slugs where babies can be. Yeah, and proper education is the key. Knowledge of self, health, and wealth. A world where we can do for ourselves. With opportunity, a place where there's unity. And the system around is built for you and me. There's no religion, cause we know that God's living. And by our very words, life is given. It's my great honor and pleasure to just bring up our elder today. Queen Mother, Dr. Ruth Brinkley, that's her full title. She's the Goodwill Ambassador to Africa. She's the Community Mayor of Harlem. And, yes, and she's also the founder of New Future Foundation, Inc., which on the original board, Shirley Chisholm, the first woman that ran for presidency, was an African-American woman, if you don't know. Shirley Chisholm was on our original board, and I've had the honor to be the secretary and director of our internship program at the United Nations, just due to Queen Mother and her leadership. And over the years, she's just done so much work. This is her 50th year of humanitarian service at the United Nations. So you guys just give her a round of
I come to all of us in the spirit of my ancestors. I'm just returning from Selma, Alabama, on the Pettis Bridge. Those of us that may be a little older would have known about, and we reenacted Bloody Sunday. And this year, Hillary Clinton came to be with us women and inducted in the Voting Rights Museum. And I'm sure you heard that there was a storm that roared in the Carolinas. And I would say I was in the midst of that storm last week. It took me 10 hours to leave from New York to Charlotte, Montgomery, and then by road into Selma. But I know that I was on a spiritual journey, sometime that we don't plan for ourselves. It is planned for us on moves that we make without anything being in place. I'm saying all of that to say this. When you on a spiritual journey in life, you turn inside whether you want to turn or not. You wake up at 3 in the morning. For me, that's the sacred number for my life force. And you have to recognize your life force. You know the number, you know the time, and you know what you must do. It has nothing to do with your mama, your daddy, your sisters, your brothers. Of that sacred space is given to you, which is life itself. And as I say to the young people, since I'm also the hip-hop queen mother, I do hang out and party and club it to 3, 4, 5 in the morning. But while I'm doing that, I remember what I am destined to do is to stay into my destiny. And you would find it at some point in life, and you know when it happened, it happens. With all of us gathered today in this room is for a reason and a season. I did not design coming here today. I didn't know anything about it until I got a call. And I usually respond and reflect, and then I give a nod or an answer, yes, I'm on my way. Once it's a part of the divine force for me, I make my moves. And when you make your move with the divine force that is just for you, Grandma, the grandmothers over here, they understand. They know what a vision quest is about. If you ever been a part of a vision quest, where you're placing the elements of life all by yourself. It's not a sweat lodge program. You're by yourself. In the wilderness of life, either you survive or the earth, Mother Earth, will swallow you up and take you on a vision quest. So the grandmothers understand, with me being Greasewood woman of the Cherokee Nation, a part of my ancestors in this land, with the mixed bloodline of the African descendants, coming from the greatest crime ever committed against the people, the transatlantic ocean of enslaved ancestors, which is my ancestors. At the United Nations, we have agitated for the Ark of Return is there. And thanks to the Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, who experienced a lot in his lifetime that he shared with some of us, that common thread of humanity and how we relate and care for each other. And today we mentioned of the heart. And we had a young woman that brought tears to my eyes. The love of the heart. And what does the heart mean for us in the healing of the mothers of civilization? That's the energy that I bring from the transatlantic ocean of the slave trade. As the Queen Mother, I represent 55 million displaced Africans every day.
Wow.
So at the United Nations, I'll agitate. I'm an agitator. That's the purpose of my being there for the last 50 years. Offered positions, I never snatched them. Because it wasn't meant for me on the sacred path of life that I sojourned. A little bit of my own background, I was a Roman Catholic nun for 10 years. I have studied religion at a very young age. So when mothers, when daughters, and the girl child comes to you and says, I want to do this. Don't say you're too young. Analyze what that child is saying to you. And I'm speaking from the mother to the daughter, to the girl child. Allow her to start on the journey and nurture her as she's on that journey, which you may not even understand. So at the age of 16 years old, I went on this Roman Catholic journey, wanted to be a nun. But my family is not nuns and Catholics. Black folks are not Catholics. If you know anything about black people, you're not in a Methodist or Baptist church saying amen and let's kick it. Okay, for the survival of black people. 400 years of enslaved people in America. It's a celebration is this year. 2019, and you'll be hearing more about what is going to be rolled out. Not only from the United Nations as of March the 25th, right after we finish with the women, setting the stage, ushering in a new wave of life of inclusion. And I would say 2 days ago in the United Nations, they had never mentioned the word, with all of my agitation for many years. And when they mentioned the word, I almost fell off my seat up in there, in the ECOSOC chamber, by the chair of the Commission on the Status of Women, and she come from Ireland, our ambassador. And she said out of her mouth, and it's recorded in the UN, Web TV, African descendant women will be up in there to do something. And I'm like, historically I heard the word as being the spook who've been sitting by the door at the United Nations. As I said before, some of us have to agitate, 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 and chip away. I'm saying this to you because in my own spirit that I was moved and brought tears to my eyes in this room, which tears is really nothing but purification. So sisters, if you haven't cried yet in this room, please cry.
Amen.
Please cry. That's a purification that you on one accord with each other. The women of the world needs us. If you was at the UN yesterday, some kind of way I got in, Queen Mother showing up with no tickets and trying to figure out how she gonna get in the room. Being in that room and seeing the waves and the push and the sound of the rhythm about what we're about to do before next year. Next year is a 25-year anniversary coming out of Beijing, China. What contribution, what attributions, what inspiration, what change from the women's karma of life that we bring to the table in the world community. And for you women, I wish that the women, the executive director, our dearly loved sister from South Africa was here. She needed to be in this circle. Monica, you need to set it up and pull her at some point in time in the UN. You need to reach out to our Deputy Secretary General, Amina Mohammed. Put them in the room. Lock the door. You good at that? Monica, you good at that? Bring some of the sisters with you and give them the love of the heart. They need us. You women are needed. It's not about a number count. It's about a power count. It's about a God feel, the beginning and the end of all things of a mother, energy of embracing. So Monica, I charge you to take care of that, because you are the mother who speaks about peace. The first time I met Monica, Monica would tell me some peace and gather everybody for some peace. And this has been a long time with the peace program, the culture of peace. It didn't start yesterday morning with Monica. So to have Monica, who's been in the culture of peace, when we had the Human Rights Caucus, going up and getting the repertoire and going up to the big mountain, Arizona in the 80s. The culture of peace, driving the children out of school when the world is coming together. The heads of state representing decision making for all of us. And most of them are what? Men. Men. It was a woman, Bella Absalom, which we talked about her today, that started bringing the energy into the UN for women to even think about running for some president or minister, ambassadors, they used to just serve as secretaries, servants, and coffee and tea. If you know anything about the UN, which I'm writing about it, for my 50 years, how many women was hanging around the UN? How many? How many was hanging around there? How many? My African, Angie Brooks from Liberia, the president of the GA, was my mentor. Coming out of a convent, what do I know about some United Nations and saving the world and getting engaged politically? Walking and talking and chewing gum at the same time. How do we do that? Unless you have mentors. Those women who want to nurture other women. And I heard that today of the nurturing of other women that cause women to move on. Because we're vessels just passing through, all of us. But our legacies must be passed on while we're still here. Not after we go and become an ancestor. Can't help me then. You're going to years left me in the wilderness some kind of way. I'm trying to feel my way. What's the next move? You truly are daughters and mothers of civilization. You are the wave of life. And you talked about water. Water. Carry life in your womb of darkness and water. Who better know and understand the purpose of water and how valuable water is to life itself? And I just want to leave the language that you spoke in my little group. And I can't wait to hear from the total group what we're bringing together. I want to say thank you, women. Being in Henry Street settlement, my first time coming here was about 50 years ago when I left the convent. Naomi Greenspan was an artist here, tall and eloquent. And when you talk about the culture and the art and the reflection of who we really are, it's in the middle of this floor, which is on the ground where it should be. And you said if anyone wants to bring something, bring it and place it at the altar, I would say. And any other name we may call this space where we have gathered and reflecting with each other in our higher selves spiritually. And we ask as we end this circle today with each other, it was a circle that we started with. And as we end the fellowship that we're having with each other, give that energy on to our sisters that are coming into New York at the United Nations. Pass that spirit on. Share with them.
Yes.
They need us.
Yes.
They need all of us.
Yes.
And I will say to you, in the tongue of my ancestors, Ashe, which means amen, so be it. Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe.